Mustard Knuckle.
Hello everybody, Mustard Knuckle back again, heading out in the Panzer IIF. Do some hill climbing here. This thing is one of my favorites. I used to hate it, now I like it a lot. Especially at the tier. I think I like the tier more than I even like the tank, but we'll talk about the gameplay. We'll go into the history of the Panzer II, what it led to, where it came from, why it was the way it was, etc. And any tips that happen. This thing, I love that gun. So it's in 10 round magazines, 20mm cannon, and rate of fire I think 280 a minute. So it goes fast. But the armor, if you can get a side shot on, guys, this thing just shreds everything, even head on at this tier. Now in real life, this thing didn't really do much of anything to a lot of allied tanks. So in game, you just got to kind of play for that side shot and then try to just find those little weak points. Let's see if this guy's gonna drive through here. Oh, too low. Okay, well, maybe I'll get him back over here. Anyway, you gotta kind of work. See, now he's gonna keep driving, so now let's see if we can get him over here. You can't give up. Yes. Ha! It actually worked. So, he was too low at first, then we didn't get a shot on him, then we just waited, and boom, there you go. Rate of fire, I mean, that was 10 shots that fast. It goes really quick. So this Panzer III, they started designing this thing in the early 1930s. It went into production in 35 through 44. Later on, it was replaced by the Panzer III, the Panzer IV, obviously. This thing was pretty outclassed by the time we got to early 40s, and it didn't last much longer after that. It went to training, and they took the turrets off of this thing and put them in those bunkers, like at Normandy and on the defense. God, what are those things called? The strong points, the whatever. You know what I'm talking about? The bunkers and stuff. So they put them out there and use them for homeland defense. You just got to be patient and keep moving. Reload takes about 3.5-4 seconds, which is not ideal as fast as this thing fires. But if you can just keep shredding these guys, you'll get tons of assists and probably plenty of kills too. So this tank, it only had 140 horsepower, so it doesn't seem like much. There we go, very nice. Doesn't seem like much, but it would get it up to speed pretty well. It weighed 20,000 pounds or just a little less, and that 140 horsepower could get this thing doing 25 miles an hour on the road, but it also allowed it to do pretty well range-wise. It could do 160 miles, 120 miles on the road. Let's see what we can do with this guy. Oh, I have a helper. Alright, I got somebody in there. Who did I get? He's gonna finish him, right? Oh, he's got a broken, it's up to me. There we go. Cool. He's got a broken barrel. Thanks for your help. That's great. So it would, it would do 25 miles an hour or so, even just on that little 140 horsepower. And it, it was a good tank for its time. And then it didn't take long, and it was overwhelmed by the early 40s. There we go. So I cleared out that last shot so I could get a fresh magazine in there. It's something you got to watch. Make sure you don't start shooting somebody when you only have one shot left in there. So pay attention to that, or try to, and get that reloaded. If you have 1 or 2 shots, just fire them out and get the reload going so that you can be ready for somebody else. And you stay active, and this thing keep moving. You'll have shots all over the place. Alright, I don't know if this is worth it. We are armored, so it's nice to have a gun like this. A lot of times when you have one of these rapid fire cannons, you don't have any armor to protect yourself. We have a little bit, not a ton, but for this tier, it's fairly decent. It's interesting on this tank, this F model, they went with a Torsionbar suspension on a lot of these other Panzer IIs, but on the F model, they said, forget it, we're going back to what we know. They went to leaf springs on the F model, which is fine with me. I don't know the difference. But, I mean, I know the difference. Torsion bar is interesting, and leaf spring is just an old leaf spring. Torsion bar, that's where you ended up going on the Panther and all the more modern tanks. And I talked about that in a Swedish video. One of the Swedish tanks was really the first one to do torsion bar suspension in a real demonstratable platform, where it was actually used in what ended up being its kind of modern format. So it's, you know, you got the bar and it's got a lever attached to the end of it, and then that lever goes up and down on a shock. The torsion bar provides the basically like the spring effect by just the twisting. So the thickness of the bar, the material it's made out of, adjusts what the suspension rate is going to be, basically. So it adjusts how soft or how stiff it's going to be just via the materials. Come on, I can't let this guy get away. Man, I'm telling you, I had no idea how fun this was. I was just using it wrong, I think. Like many things in this game, I didn't know what I was doing, and I would take this thing in and just rapid fire guys, but I wasn't getting their barrels, I wasn't getting any of the key stuff. I was just wasting my time going in there, boom, 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 and then they shoot me with something and I die, and I'm like, man, this thing's a piece of junk. But if you use it and keep moving, it's small. If you use it, it's got decent speed. If you take advantage of those things, then it can be a pretty good tank. So we'll go back here and see what's going on back here. Let's see. We'll try to get hidden. There we go. Good. I doubt I'm going to catch this guy either. So let's see. Torsion bar suspension, 140 horsepower, 20 millimeter cannon, out of service by the early 40s. I mean, that pretty much wraps it up, really. There were a few variants along the way, but overall, the main bullet points of this thing are just that the service history it had was successful for the time period that it was in. The F model, it was really the kind of the final iteration that had any success with this. They tried 50 millimeter cannon, or they were gonna try a 50 millimeter cannon, and that went away. I feel like I'm having a pretty good game here. Maybe I can get this. Yeah, I feel like I'm having a good game. I'm satisfied with this. No matter what happens from here, I'm feeling pretty good. There was a flamethrower version of this. The flamethrowers blow my mind. Because, you know, just to think, like, yeah, I'm driving the flamethrower today, and the thing was amazing. So it's like a rolling gas tank, and then it has, what they use, compressed nitrogen. They use compressed nitrogen to kind of provide the blow to get the flame, to get the throw going, you know, with the flame. So it was a pretty wild machine. It had 320 liters of fuel, and then it had compressed nitrogen tanks. I just, you know, it seems hazardous to me, blowing flames out the front of a machine. But I mean, how cool would that be to see? I could get on board with just seeing how one of those actually works. I mean, like, not on me, but just kind of witnessing, you know what I mean? Just kind of see what it looks like. Just the machines that are made for war are as you'd expect. I mean, they're just brutal. But it's amazing, you know, again, the Germans, the versatility, how few real chassis they had for various projects throughout World War II. They, you know, maybe 15 different chassis between, I mean, if you count the Panzers as a whole, maybe count the Panzer IVs, Panzer IIIs, 2s, 1s, but the Panzer IV was really the only one that mattered. by then, 'cause that's what they built everything on. The Panther, the Tiger 2, you know, and then the half tracks, and then the big guns, the way they'd move like the Flak 88, and they put it on from a trailer onto the truck, and then just the different things that they did. It was just kind of a mix and match however you want to on that day. Now you can see this thing's not even modded, and we were shredding them like that. So once this thing's modded, it's even more fun, for sure, right? Like, that's just how it works. Anyway, guys, if you're subscribed, thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you for commenting, all of you. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Every Tuesday, 3-minute clinic, how to kill a new vehicle, and 3 to 5 regular videos a week. History, tips, gameplay, and every single one. Good luck. Have fun. We'll see you in the next one.